going to stop here, right?
It's going to stop you to get some food.
What?
Grabbing into that and jump the back of the car.
What? Where are we?
Don't tell me what I'm doing. Shit.
What are you doing?
Fucking things up.
Oh, here he is. There you go. Okay, so we're at the first campsite for the trip. I don't know exactly where we are.
North Cudmira.
North Cudmira. Hopefully get some fish tonight. So we're just going to camp on the beach. This is Tomo.
No YouTube?
Yeah.
Facebook.
This is it.
Facebook. That's batteries. Somewhere.
Dan.
Might make this a bit easier.
You'll have to sharpen them.
This is a sooty oyster catcher. It is eating shells on the low tide because the low tide exposes the shells. So the best time for them to eat is at low tide. They also have the name black oyster catcher. There is another type, the pied oyster catcher, which I will film later in another segment.
So here's some fossils here. One there, one there. Another one here, little tiny shell. Bivalves. So these are all bivalves. Have a look for some more. So these here, these will be like a worm tunnel, some sort of beach worm tunnel. So they're full of them all along here. See where they've been tunnelling. Some more here. There's a good one. So ancient worms under the seabed. And they leave their mark in the rock where they've moved. So how old was it again? 270 million.
About 270 million years.
So these ones are dropped into the sedimentary.
Yeah, well this was a seabed.
Oh, seabed, yeah.
Yeah. So the water was probably about 20 or 30 metres deep.
Oh, all right.
Maybe a little bit more, 50 metres. And
So that's pretty deep.
yeah. And there's volcanoes. There's volcanoes to the southeast.
Right.
Island volcanoes. and they're erupting, and you're getting these tuffs. You can't. You can see lines going through here in places.
Yeah.
If you go a bit further, it's just around the corner around here. There's you can see it. It's a white clay that's in there. That's like that's a volcanic eruption.
All right.
So like ash gets erupted, you know, comes out of the volcano and settles down through the sea, through the seawater. You get that horizon. But there's a real thick one around here. It's about that thick.
All right.
And you can see it's been deposited on top of a dark carbonaceous, so it's full of carbon. So it's full of like there were trees and that growing on the sides of the volcanoes.
Yeah.
And when there's eruptions, the trees get burnt or charcoal,
And get stuck in it.
and that gets incorporated into the sediments. You see how these dark lines? See this dark stuff? All that dark stuff is carbon. So
Right, yeah.
it's carbonaceous material, so it's plant material, you know.
And what about the little... Some more shell remnants. Here's more. So all along this coast, they're pretty renowned for this. Here's a pretty good one. So this is the first campsite. Just had a walk along the beach. Decided to go on the rocks and have a look at some fossils, some shell fossils.
Now the oyster catcher has a specially adapted beak to get the shells out of the rocks and extract the meat out of the shell.
Yeah, he was showing me around a bit. There's some pretty good fossils there. So we're not too far from Ulladulla, down the coast from Sydney, and we'll do a bit of a beach walk and just start off on these rocks. So there's a lot of fossils in these rocks. So this is like a seabed, ancient seabed. You got fossils all in this, and then it goes up there, more fossils, right up there. So it's a bit of a conglomerate thing as well. There's some mixed rocks. So there, some of them are bivalves. It's hard to work out what they are. Oh, here's a... So this isn't a dead crab. This is just the shell. Oh, here's another one. So these are just the so it's empty inside. So that's just the casting of the next shell. And some bird will eat that for calcium, or something else will use it for calcium to strengthen their bones. So all different shells getting washed up on the high tide. So here's a crab's hole. So he's dug up here, and he's walked here. There's his tracks. Bit of kelp. There's a pippy, not a bad size. Ah, here's a looks like a goanna's track. So there's the feet mark there. That's its tail dragging along. He's looking for a bit of carrion. Here's another crab. They dig all the sand up here. So they sort of go in as drag their feet and make that mark. So yeah, the goan has been looking around here, looking around this log, sniffing around. There's the dragging of the feet again. Someone's made a bit of a shelter from the sun. So yeah, this kelp, that's the base of it where it clings onto the rock. So in a heavy tide or something, then it breaks off the rock and floats onto the beach. It's high in iodine, so it's pretty useful for a lot of animals. So there's a better look at the goanna's feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the following one. You guys fishing out there. So this is a bit of cunji. The gropers like this. So here is blue bottles, or Portuguese manawar. So they sort of float along, and so this is another blue bottle. So that there is the tentacle. That's the bit that stings, and this is the floating device to floating along the water. So when they migrate, they all get stuck together on the beach and make you swim a bit unhappy. Another pippy. So this is a smaller bird. There's a bit larger. So we'll see if we can find this bird. There he is. So he's just eating little flies. Oh, there's another one. So they're just eating little flies on the end of the whitewash. So that's the cuttlefish, and there's a small. So this is only part of it. So the rest comes here and a bit there. So that's the bigger cousin, the cuttlefish. And they migrate and breed and then die. Certain areas they breed. Oh, here's a bird track. And he sort of drags his legs, so he's a different type. And this is a float. Might use when I go on fishing, so found a float. So it's pretty good beach combing. Get to see some cool stuff. It's the seabird's nest here, and they just put a sign up for people's dogs, because the dogs can take them off the nest and the eggs die. So the dogs scare them off the nest, and if the dogs don't move in time, the eggs go cold and they die. So this is little plover, some plover. Might have been the bird we seen. So we'll go to the mouth of this river now and have a look. So this is where it meets the beach. Have a look what's been here. Another crab. This here is probably a baby kangaroo. So there's another one. Another one. So he's hopped down here. So here's the kangaroo tracks. So that's the tail. So this is a larger kangaroo. This might be the mother, and it's let its baby out for a run. So there's the baby, and there's the big one. So because they're hopping together, I'd say it's a mother and a baby. So I'm nearly at camp now, so I'll start setting up for camp. So I hope you like the beach comb.
This is an adult white-breasted sea eagle. It is the second largest bird of prey in Australia, with a wingspan over 2 metres.
Went down the bush the other day, went walking to the bushes, seen old Bluey there, and I said, "G'day, mate, how you going, mate, how you going, mate, how you going?"
There were several pairs of these sea eagles flying around the surf, catching fish in the water. They were definitely the highlight of the trip. It was unreal watching these birds floating in the sky, riding the thermals. They were so mesmerizing to watch all day. We decided to go for a spotlight to see what survived after the fires. There were some beautiful moths, in particular this one here. It looked like a cicada with its wings folded. Beautiful silver on the wings. In the canopy, we found a greater glider. The photos are a bit blurry because it was up the top of the canopy. We got back to camp and seen this small-eyed snake, which is potentially dangerous, and it was almost going into Tomo's sleeping bag. So if he didn't see it in time, he would have had an uncomfortable night. So we went for a walk and let him out in the bush away from the camp. Then we seen this wasp nest not far from the camp, quite large, with many wasps hanging around the nest. In the morning, me and Dan decided to check out the rock pools, see the animal life inside the rock pools. It started to rain, so we found a cave and sheltered in the cave for a while to wait for the rain to pass.